Welcome to the Stop Over Drinking and Start Living podcast, where high-achieving, goal-oriented rebel women come to learn how to live a vibrant and fulfilling life without requiring alcohol to get through it. No labels, no judgments, no saying you'll never drink again. Just real proven methods to help you stop rebelling against yourself with alcohol so you can drink less and do more. I'm your host, Angela Mascenik. Let's dig in. Welcome to episode 289, Grief, Sunrises, and Changing Plans. Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the podcast. I missed you all last week. I was on vacation doing my thing. This week I just want to give you some updates. If you've been following along, you know that I had planned to do the 30 days of sober sunrises over Carolina Beach in eastern North Carolina on the Atlantic Ocean, and had my intentions all set out. And my question was, for this writing project of me documenting what happens when you commit to seeing 30 sober sunrises over the Atlantic Ocean to a person. And I was really interested to find out what would happen. Well, as life happens, an unexpected and tragic event happened. My husband's little sister, Teresa, unexpectedly passed away. And it was very shocking and very sad, and I was actually the one who received the phone call first, and so I had to alert the family, and then of course that shifted my plans quite a bit for, the remainder of my time at the beach. And it's just been really interesting observing myself and the family and supporting the family in this tragic time. And what I didn't know when I was planning my 30 days of sober sunrises over the Atlantic Ocean is that practice that I set myself up for, the reflections, the spaciousness, the nature, the healing energy of the ocean, and how much that would help me during this time. So I was about 2 weeks in to, maybe not 2 weeks, maybe about 10 or 12 days, I can't remember now, into daily sunrises and my journaling practice and moving my body on the beach and, just giving myself a lot of spaciousness and time to reflect and be creative with the sunrise and watching the ocean and just seeing, how when you're observing nature in such a grand scale like the ocean, how it has so many similarities to a human life, right? Things come in and things move out, and the changes and the different colors and the energy and the wind, like it's different every day, just like our human experience is different every day, and we have different emotions coming in and coming out, and sometimes it's really angry and windy, and sometimes it's really calm and serene and peaceful. And so I'm witnessing this and writing about this in my blog. And then when this tragic news came in, immediately hit with terrible grief and shock and sadness and, feeling so terrible for the family and my husband. I went home right away and, still woke up before the sun at home and sat outside and listened to the birds become awake and watch the sky color change and, connecting with my trees from my back porch. I can't really see the sunrise from here, but you can see the sky changing color. And so I, continued on with that practice while I was here. And, my husband would join me when he could too. And those were really good moments of being quiet and being reflective. And I think one of the things, and I'm just going to jump around here in this podcast episode on my reflections of this whole thing. One of the things that has been so helpful is just nature. Nature helps you heal. And, I got certified in as a forest therapy guide last year. And I knew this then through my training and my forest bathing. And I've led, my retreats and taken groups out in healing type sessions in the woods and individual sessions. And it's always, the woods and nature always delivers exactly what you need to know in that moment that helps your heart heal. or process feelings. And that has been no different with this sunrise project at the ocean and, the loss of Teresa's life. And one of the biggest things I'm so thankful for in all of this too is that I don't drink alcohol. I cannot even imagine what it would be like to drink through this. It would just be so much worse because I have this foundation of, even just those week and a half or 2 weeks of connecting with the ocean and the sunrise and nature in this short term. It has helped me process this grief so much. Like, it was really, really intense and just deep sadness and loss for like the first 5 days. Lots of crying, lots of different emotions coming through, exhaustion, all of that. And then it passes. And I'm not saying it's passing forever. It just got lighter as we talked and we healed with the family. We actually hired a death doula. It was actually my friend Shauna, who lives locally, and she is an amazing, wise, compassionate, and caring human who has been through similar deaths with her own family and her own husband. And so she came up and helped the family, me, my husband, his parents, and my oldest kid, have a group therapeutic processing session where everybody got to share their history and stories about Teresa and grieve, and she really allowed space for people to process their feelings and to share. She also helped us with next steps, with what to do, some planning things, decisions that need to be made and whatnot. And it was just a beautiful thing to have had done with the family. I think often what I see too in my clients' work and with people going through this sort of tragedy is that we don't pause enough to actually acknowledge what just happened. We just move through it, right? We're making decisions, we're thinking, we're talking to people, we're figuring out what to do with ceremonies and processes and all that kind of stuff, but we're not actually pausing and feeling and processing the huge change and loss that we just experienced. And so she allowed us a few hours to do that, and I cannot tell you the value that brought to the whole family. It makes me tear up thinking about it, because his parents are very religious and Catholic, and I wasn't sure how they would, how they would feel about it. I knew that they would like her because she's been through similar things before, and they would resonate with her. But they kept talking about her and that process for the rest of the time that we were all together, and how profound it was for them. And it also was really helpful to witness them processing their feelings around this. And it was just like this very big healing experience for the family. And so if you have a resource like that, or if you happen to ever have to go through something like this, and somebody that does that or have heard of that before, I highly recommend her if you're in the Raleigh-Durham area, or somebody in your local area that can be a third party that understands this process and that can help walk you through it in the most loving, compassionate, and caring way possible. So that was a beautiful thing, although it was very exhausting to have for the family. And then, I brought in my Angela-ness into all of it too. We went to Trader Joe's and we picked out Teresa's favorite color flowers, and we did a group flower arranging, which she was very creative and her family is very creative. So we enjoyed that. Seeing some beauty come together in such a sad time really helped us, move through it and process and acknowledge her and talk about her. I had meals delivered. I hired a private chef for one of my North Carolina retreats, and I texted her as soon as I knew. I was thinking about how are we going to eat? Like, I was thinking about going to Costco and doing some meal prep, because what I know to be true is food is very important during these types of times, and nobody should be cooking. And I didn't really want to put something out on the social webs asking for food because I wasn't ready yet to share this with the greater world. So I texted her and she said yes. And she brought us over dinners and breakfasts every day while we were all together. And it was nourishing and healthy. And it helped us so much. So thankful for that resource. And so food, pausing to process our feelings, doing a little bit of creativity, helped us move through that situation and those early days of that sort of shock and having to make decisions and things so much easier. And of course, and nobody drank all weekend. His parents didn't drink. They didn't even ask about alcohol. My husband didn't drink. There was no alcohol in the house at all. And I also think that contributed to us being able to move through that terrible time as easily and wholly as we could. I can't even explain. That is one thing that I'm so thankful for every single day. Whenever something tragic happens, and this has probably been the biggest tragedy of my life, even though she wasn't my sister, it's my husband's sister, and seeing that his pain and tragedy and for many, many years, Teresa has struggled with different things. And so the pain of all of that and being married to him and the journey of it all, has been very difficult. And I knew her very well. She lived, 20 minutes away. This has been probably the hardest thing that I've dealt with in my life. And witnessing my husband deal with this and his parents and his siblings and my kids. And I have to just tell you that I'm so thankful. There's so much gratitude that I have for my life that I don't drink alcohol. And when you can land on some gratitude in all of this, it helps you. I'm so thankful that I figured out my shit so I could show up the best and the healthiest way possible for myself and for my family during this time. And it's invaluable. This is why it's important to learn how to feel your feelings. People dismiss that shit all the time. And I can tell you, I called on all of my skills, all of my healthy habits, all of my work that I do on a daily basis came into this weekend and to this time that this all happened. And it is the gift that keeps on giving. It 100% is. So when I'm talking about feelings on this podcast, I really want you to listen to me because you will need it. Alcohol is not a tool for dealing with grief. It 100% has the opposite effect of it. It will make you suffer even more. It will make it harder. When you drink alcohol, it amplifies the spin out thoughts, the negative thoughts, the loop thoughts, the regret thoughts, all of that. It just makes all of that so much worse, and you end up suffering way more than you need to. There's already going to be enough suffering going on individually and collectively with the family and friends and siblings and all of that. You don't need the added pain and suffering of drinking and what that does to your mind and your emotions when you're already suffering, right? And you're already grieving. So I highly recommend that you take this and you do whatever you can to learn how to be with your feelings and process your feelings and embed these tools into your fabric of your being so that when it matters most, you can call on them. And I'm so thankful every single day that I have my tools and that I know how to use my tools and I know how to talk about things with people. I know how to express my feelings. I know how to acknowledge them. I know how to process them. I know when I need a break, when I'm need to be with people, when I don't need to be with people. I know what I need during this time, and it's so helpful. So I just wanted to add that in. And then just kind of going back to the situation after, his family left and things evened out a little bit, I ended up going back to the beach with an urging of my husband and, not having a lot to do here at the house. So I went back and I met my friend there who was originally supposed to come out with me. And she was actually going through a terrible, tragic loss at the same time. And so we both together used the ocean to help us process and heal and connect with things bigger than ourselves to help us see some meaning in all of this, right? A lot of people use nature as like a spiritual practice. I would say that I would do that too. When you can connect with things and you are open to receiving and hearing messages from trees or from the ocean or from nature in some point, it does make it feel easier. It does help you find meaning in things, and maybe a silver lining, or maybe a message that everything's okay, or something that makes you feel better. And I can't stress that enough. That was one thing that the very, very beginning of my journey to change my relationship with alcohol, I read something that says, connect with something, connect with spirituality, connect with God, connect with the universe. Something that you can connect with spiritually will help you. And I started playing with that. And now I am so glad that I did that. And I'm not super consistent with it all the time, but when it's tough times like this, I definitely call on those types of practices. I use oracle cards sometimes. I use nature. I've been using the sunrise a lot with the sunrise and a lot with the ocean these past few weeks in my journaling practice. And it just helps ease the pain of it and see a different picture, see a different message that maybe you wouldn't have thought of on your own. And then the other part of this podcast I wanted to talk about is being flexible, right? I was very rigid going into my 30 days of sober sunrises. I rented a house for a month that was within walking distance to the beach, and I coordinated with my husband so that we could rotate different kid groups through and him coming through, but that I would never have to drive all the way back to Chapel Hill to pick up a kid so that I could always see the sunrise every single day. Well, when this thing happened, of course, I'm not going to be as rigid. And of course, your priorities, the really important priorities, rise to the top, right? And so I had to let go of the consistent 30 days in a row of seeing these, amazing, beautiful, sober sunrises. And I decided that wasn't the most important thing. It wasn't the most important thing. The most important thing about this project so far is that I have given myself a daily practice to allow some reflection and some peace and some connection with myself and with something bigger than me, like the ocean or the sun. And so when that became the focus, and I'm using it now as more of a healing modality and something that's helping me with this process of grieving this immense loss, it's not about the consistency and it's not about doing it perfect. It's just about building the practice and discovering things about yourself and having it as a tool to help ease some of the pain. And so it also makes me think about, you guys might be doing Dry July right now and wanting 30 days in a row of being alcohol free, or maybe you would like to explore 30 days of doing something in a row. And I just want to remind you, it's not about the completion of the thing that you want to do of 30 days in a row. That's usually not why you do these things. You do these things to stretch yourself. You do these things to discover more about yourself, to learn about yourself, to see what obstacles you might have to overcome or be flexible in, or, push yourselves out of your comfort zone. Say yes to things you haven't done before. There's always so much more than just the completion of 30 days in a row of something. And so I think that is just it's just like the universe again. It's not about the 30 days in a row, Angela. It's about how you're going to use the time that you're doing it. What are you doing with this? What is it meaning to you? What are you learning about yourself? What's coming through that could be a theme in your 30 days of whatever it is. And I have definitely learned that here. It's okay to change plans. It's okay if you don't make it to the 30 days. But when you zoom out and look at the big picture, did you move something? Did you have some ahas? Did you have some new connection with yourself? Did you use it to benefit you and to move forward towards your goals in your life? And I can say yes, that has been the case for the 30 Days of Sober Sunrises project. I am so, so glad I had said yes to that dream and to that goal, and honoring myself and my own celebration of 6 years of not drinking and wanting to do something big for it this year. I think this chapter, this incident with Teresa and her death, I think it would have been a lot harder not to have that. I'm so thankful I had that, and that I am so present and aware and know exactly how to take care of myself, that I came home and took care of my family in a big way. So I'm very, very happy about that and very proud of it. And I'm not disappointed at all that, I couldn't see 30 days in a row of sober sunrises. It happened exactly the way it should have happened, and I'm very, very happy about it. So I'm headed back to the beach for my final 3 days there with my kids and their friends, and that's going to be a good time. I'm going to wrap up the project, and then I'm off to leading a retreat in Seattle next week, which I'm super excited about, to do a deep dive with my amazing clients and showing them this way in real life, and how to move through difficult feelings and how to show up for yourself no matter what is going on in your life, right? That is one thing that I cannot stress enough, is taking care of yourself no matter what. And once you get that going, you've got to keep it going, okay? So even on vacation, even during times of tragedy, you've got to put yourself first, because if I didn't do that here, my family wouldn't have gotten the benefit of me having the capacity to think about things like flowers or ordering food delivery or whatever else that we did together, the doula, all of that stuff. If it wasn't for me taking care of myself, none of that would have happened, and they would have had, it would have been a fine or whatever experience, but I made it better for them because of my own commitment to taking care of myself. And I really do believe that, and I want to do that for people. So it's absolutely important that you show up for yourself no matter what is going on. Find a way to do it. If that means you need to take care of food or go to bed earlier or whatever, say no to things. You matter, and your life matters, your mental health matters, your goals matter, no matter what is going on. And if you can find some consistency in that, you will go very, very far. So all of that to say, sober sunrises, my 6th summer of sobriety, sweet Teresa, and so much love to everybody who has shown up and sent me your condolences and thoughts and well wishes and all of it. I really, really appreciate so much. And I am here for you to help you navigate terrible things in your life too. And you shouldn't do it alone. And you should ask for help and honor yourself in that process. So all my love to you, my friends. Stay strong out there. Learn how to feel those feelings. They won't kill you, but over drinking and suffering your way through it, it may not have the outcome that you should hope for your life. And that makes me want to fight for you every single day for as long as I can. All right, my friends, we'll talk to you next week. Bye for now. I want you to check out angelamascenik.com/aliveaf. You know what it's like to have a desire to cut back on your drinking, right? You start to read books, listen to podcasts, try things, but you might not be able to yet put all the pieces and suggestions together in a way that actually makes sense and works for you. You might struggle with beating yourself up after an overdrink. You might get frustrated with yourself when you take 2 steps forward and then another 2 steps back, and get overwhelmed with what's right and wrong about your relationship with alcohol. Your friends tell you that you should be able to have just 1 drink, and it isn't a big deal. You might be white-knuckling through urges and resisting instead of peacefully processing them. And you might struggle with your identity as someone who has enjoyed having a lot of wine or alcohol in your life. It's around you all of the time. It's what you do and who you are. Well, after 5 years of successfully coaching hundreds of women through these struggles, I have created the Alive AF membership, where women like you can learn the basics on what it takes to cut back and reach your goals with alcohol, whether it is to just drink less or totally quit. And when you join, you will get the exact framework I used to change my own relationship with alcohol and still use today, that has led me to be alcohol-free for over 5 years. You're going to get access to my resources, videos, and worksheets that have been proven to change and reduce how much you drink. Every day you can ask questions, share your obstacles, and get coaching and direct support on the challenges you will face with love and no judgment. Also, you will get immediate access to workshops like uncovering your alcohol identity and changing it, how to say no to things that don't support your new identity or life or goals, aka boundaries. A workshop called Creating Emotional Agency, and another one, How to Manage Your Mind to Succeed at Your Goals, and more. Every month we have a brand new workshop. These workshops are filled with step-by-step prompts and instruction to help you create the exact relationship with alcohol that is best for you. My mission and vision for Alive AF is to be a hub of support and resources for women to come and learn how to do what is best for them and becoming more alive in the process. When you join, you're going to learn how to take care of yourself better, how to feel good and become more alive and go after the life that you really want. I want this membership to be affordable and an easy solution where you can get all the help you need in one simple place whenever you need it. So, no need to go read another book, find a new podcast, attend a free webinar, or go down the path of piecemealing it all together. Join Alive AF and have it all there in one place for you anytime you need it. So, go to AngelaMascenik.com/AliveAF and enrollment is open right now. See you inside.